us.
Do you have one?
I do. Welcome, everyone. We're just talking about it's time to wind down, but Toni has no wine.
I completely forgot.
Oh, how do you forget wine, Toni?
Well, because I was busy and I was so excited about all the things I was going to talk about, and then completely. And Jer is away.
That is true.
Jer always brings me the glass of wine.
Yes, so, you have somebody that brings you wine every Friday at 2. That's like.
I have somebody who brings me wine every day. So
yeah, you live a spoiled life. Yes. Well, happy Friday. And we were just talking about offline that it's been a really busy week for both of us and just lots going on. And so we need to wind down.
We do. We need to wind down.
I think the reality is I really won't be able to wind down until August 1st. Well, July 22nd. You know, we have the whole baby coming in 6 weeks. My daughter's pregnant, and then we have the wedding coming up. And so today's first fitting for wedding dress. So yeah, there's always.
But there's a little break in there in July. There's like 4 days in July.
For somebody's birthday celebration.
That doesn't matter. It's just we'll be together at the cottage, and that will be downtime.
That will be nice. Yeah, I have little breaks in between. So, yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. She's wineless. I think we should take up a GoFundMe project.
Yeah, I mean that's how crazy this week has been. I am wineless. I am wineless.
But
I'm very excited to be here.
It's a very sad situation.
I love this show. I love doing this show. It's the highlight of my week.
Well, and what I love about it is you focus on customer experience and innovative ways to wow customers, and I'm focused on innovative ways to reach out and bring in new customers in the marketing side. And it's just cool because our topics always seem to gel so well. So I'm excited because I found a really cool tool we're going to talk about that ties into the whole thing of, what makes you special, what makes you unique, why should people work with you?
Yeah, and that maybe we should start with that. But I just want to go back to what you said, which is, in the work that we do, I always say to people when I speak to a group, I'll say, raise your hand if you're in marketing. And like about 2 people put their hand up.
Right.
And then by the end of it, the whole room has their hand up, because everything we do, we're not talking about customer experience in the sense of customer satisfaction. We're talking about deliberately designing experiences all through the customer journey. And that's why our stuff kind of melds so well together, because it's all marketing.
That's right.
How you market to your customers and get them to do more business with you.
Yes. And so right now, if you are watching and you are in marketing, we want you to just do a high five emoji or put a number 5 for a high five. If you are in marketing, we want to see you put a 5 because let's just see if everyone else agrees that they are also in marketing.
We're all in marketing all the time.
That's right. We are. And I know in marketing, and we talk about this all the time, is everybody thinks they're unique, and it's very rare when somebody stands out and really is unique. And I think it gets harder and harder the more we're in and I think part of it is we're in our silo of our business. So we tend to watch other people in our industry. So we can fall into the trap of, we see so many people doing things. You could either go the kind of copycat side that you start doing things too similar, or the other way where you think everyone else is so much better and you can never get there. And so, I like the whole thing of questioning why should people work with you?
And that's the question we start with all of our clients is why you? And the reality is that the real question is why you and not them, because you bring up a very interesting point, and that's the word unique. Unique is a scary word. And it's not really so much about being unique in the world, although I happen to believe we all are in some way. It's about differentiation, which means being strategically different from your competitors, standing out, or if you're kind of Cirque du Soleil or Uber or Airbnb, you completely disrupt an industry. But for the rest of us normal folks, it's really about doing what we can in an innovative way to differentiate ourselves. So I like to say there's only two ways to be different. Either you do something that's never been done, or you do what everybody else is doing differently. It's not any more complicated than that.
Well, that's true. Well, that simplifies it. And I got to give a shout out to Dee and Deb. We've got the D group here, Dee Ducart and Deb Lee. Hey, ladies, and cheers to you. Dee says it's never too early to have a cocktail. So
no, who's that? They're my friend.
Dee Ducart, your new BFF. Yeah.
New BFF. I don't know Dee. So, but we should connect, Dee.
Yes, you should. And Deb Lee says hello to us. Hello, beautiful ladies.
Hi,
I just put the word beautiful in there, Deb. Deb says hi, ladies, and I just said beautiful. So yeah, because Deb's beautiful. You should see her. She's like a gorgeous supermodel. Deb works on our team with us and does amazing things. And so hi to everyone. So so when people try to figure out what is their unique differentiator, I mean, I'm always thinking of things like trying to come up with making a list of all the things we do, all the features, all the benefits, everything. And then if we just take all that, and we've talked about this, if you go to any competitor's website and if they have any of those words, you have to cross it out. Really, a lot of times what makes us unique when we cross out all those things is us. Is a lot of times if we're a smaller business, what makes us stand out is our uniqueness. Like you're saying, we're all unique. So there are ways to bring our personality to our brand. Yeah. And I think the bigger brands that stand out have a way of making a personality for their brand.
You know, and there's a lot of tools that we use with our clients, but one of the things that I love to say is that the answer to why you really has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what you can do for me if I'm your customer. And so the differentiation is not so much about, you know, who you are and what you do and all of those wonderful things. The differentiator is what you do for me, what you bring to the table for me that is different than what your competitors bring to the table. So it's starting with the story and then figuring out how we tell that story. And in fact, I came across something this week. You know, I'm usually looking for successes, but every so often I come across a huge fail when it comes to YU. And I think a few weeks ago we talked about Doritos for women.
Right, right. I still think there's a way if they make them pink or something that women might.
Oh yeah, I'd eat them if they were pink because that would really appeal to me.
You want pink powder on your fingers, not orange. But what were they thinking?
The example this week was Warby Parker. And Warby Parker for April Fool's Day, and I did put the link in under the video.
I see it.
For April Fool's Day, Warby Parker decided to do what turned out to be kind of a joke that went flat with Arby's, and it was because if you put Warby Parker and Arby's together, you get Warby. Stay with me here. I don't know why anybody thought that was funny, but here's the real point of the story. The word, because we should all have one word, the word that associated with Warby Parker is cool. Their entire brand is built on cool. And then if you look at the sub-chapters of their book, there's all kinds of things like authentic and transparent and all of these wonderful words. And Arby's?
Not cool.
Arby's is for hunters. Arby's is for like
hunters.
Oh yeah, they like on the whole side of the gun thing there, and so it was a total blunder for Warby Parker to do anything with Arby's, regardless of the fact that somebody thought that putting those two names together would be cute. And it got very little press, and the press it did get, and the social media buzz it did get was bad. Like it was people posting it with big question marks, and so check the link out. And the reason that I want to share this with people is what we have a responsibility to be thinking constantly about where our brand disconnects are. So where are your brand disconnects? And here's the thing, in our business, our word is different. Dare to be different. That's what our brand is all about. So we could drive ourselves nuts, making sure that every touch point experience was different. And I do drive myself nuts. But there aren't enough hours in the day to do them all. So if you're in neutral, that's fine. What would be a really bad thing for our business and our brand would be to do something that is not just neutral, but so predictable that people would go, okay, that's a disconnect. So that's where we need to look at every touch point in our journey and think, are there any brand disconnects? And as we move forward, as we do all of these innovative things, are we doing things that are consistent with our brand story that remind people of those words, as opposed to make people go, what?
Well, it's interesting because this week Kirk sent me something that had Dunkin' Donuts had a campaign of win a pair of Dunkin' Donuts running shoes, and they were selling running shoes, Dunkin' Donuts branded. And I was like, what? Like, are they trying to say if you eat Dunkin' Donuts, you better be running the calories off? But then I looked at their slogan is running on Dunkin'.
Yeah, so running on. That's always been
trying to tie in the running shoes, which I thought are runners. Now maybe runners. I just look at it and go, are runners their target audience, or maybe their target audience wants to look like they're running? I just thought that was a weird one too. Even though their slogan running on Dunkin', I thought, okay, who would wear Dunkin' Donut shoes? Maybe. So yeah, I think we do have to look at, is it congruent? Always. Anything. Yeah. Is it congruent with our brand?
And not just congruent, making sure it's not a disconnect, an actual disconnect.
Right.
So that people go, like, what the whatever, right? Because
right.
that is, neutral is okay. Disconnect.
Which you were asking that question as, what are your brand disconnects? And I think that is something interesting to look at, which causes you to evaluate every touch point in your organization, in that whole customer journey. Look at every single, because we've talked about, I got that deodorant, native deodorant, and I got the email when I ordered this deodorant online, and it was this amazing marketing piece. It was just, to me, it was brilliant. But then the deodorant came and it was kind of average. And I was actually disappointed, because I really wasn't looking forward to getting deodorant in the mail. I was looking forward to this really cool packaging and experience because of the email. And on the reverse side, Bombas socks I had ordered online, and their video was really cool. And when their packaging came, they followed up with some fun messaging. And I thought, there is something to you. Maybe I look at it and go, I bet at Native Deodorant, they have a really cool person running their email and marketing. Yes. And the rest of the company is kind of like, hey, we're a deodorant company. I don't know.
And what they haven't done is looked at the touch points in the journey to make sure that the story is being told over and over again. The same story.
It's like all of a sudden the story stops in the middle and leaves people going, I want more of that story that I signed on for.
Right.
And I think that's an interesting thing to look at. If your brand is attracting the right people. So, not everybody is going to want to work with me. And I'm fine with that. I'd rather repel the people who don't want to work with me. And I want to attract the people who do. But if people are attracted to you for something, and then the story stops in the middle and they're like, oh, it's not followed through. Right. You're right. There's a disconnect.
Absolutely. Now, what's that tool you said you wanted to share?
Yeah, so I actually got an email from a company that I connected with on social, and it's called Bonjoro. So not Bongiorno, but Bonjoro. Bonjoro.
Not Bon Jovi.
Yeah, not Bon Jovi, but Bonjoro. So maybe it was kind of the Arby's Warby Parker thing. Maybe Bon Jovi started Bonjoro and he was in France, and I don't know. But Bonjoro is a service you sign up for, and you can tie it to your email service. So your CRM, whenever you can also tie it to your systems, that anytime someone makes a purchase from your website, you'll get notified. And you open up your app on your phone or on your computer, and you send an immediate video, a personal video. So when I connected with this guy. I got an immediate video from him, and he was wearing a bear suit because that's their mascot. And they have a whole bunch of them, it turns out, and they'll have their whole team get in bear suits at times. But they make a video, and it wasn't just a generic video. He was like, "Hey, Gina, it's John. I just wanted to say hey and thanks for connecting with us," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? How are they able to do it? So I signed on right away. This week, every day. So I tied it to my email service. So a MailChimp, anytime someone signs up on one of our email lists they download something, one of our lead magnets, I get a notification immediately from Bonjoro. And it just says, you have a Bonjoro to do. And I click on the to do, and it opens up my video camera, and it tells me the person's name. And I can immediately send a video and say, hey, just this morning, I did one to Annie, who then joined our DIY social group. So shout out to you, Annie. I was like, hey, Annie, it's Gina. I just wanted to welcome you. You could just leave a personal message and to get to know people. And I thought, what a cool way, number one, to stand out. Because how many lists do we get on and then we forget? So it's like, how do you?
That's brilliant.
Brilliant. And I'm super excited about it. I don't know how to keep up with it. Like to keep up with it.
That would be the only thing.
Yeah. But right now it's really cool.
The video goes right into the email. It's not click on it and it takes you somewhere else. It's right there in the email.
Well, the email is coming from, because it opens up in Bonjoro. That's why I'm curious. It's interesting because I just signed on this week. And after you send so many of them, then you get stats. So right now I don't have stats. And so I want to see, I think yesterday I did 20 of them, just because I know. And what was interesting, that also was interesting to me. Well, it literally takes me 15 seconds to do one. Yeah. Now, you had to be video ready.
All the time.
Let's go to the vanity part of this. Let's get real. If you're not video ready, I'm like, shoot, like I look like, a wreck, and I can't go on and do a video. So maybe the whole bear costume idea came from women in their marketing department, because I need something that's like a mask I can put on and do. But yesterday I was like, oh my gosh, what was interesting is I started becoming aware of how many people are joining our email list in a day. And then it got me excited I want to create a new lead magnet because I want to up my game. I mean, so it was kind of a really cool focus this week to do, but I loved it. Now what I'm curious is if anyone has gotten these, like, I want to know the stats. Like, are they opening? Are they watching it? Is it creepy? Like, is there a creepy factor? Like, okay, well, you not only I downloaded this, but now you know my name, but they put their name in my email contact list. So
I think I would also play a little bit of devil's advocate. And that would be that for me, I can't speak for anybody else. That would be a huge distraction.
For you during the day. Yeah.
It would just be the dings and the dongs, and stopping to do a video would just mean that I'm not focusing on. I think it's really cool. I think we just need to, and I'm assuming you don't need to do it right away.
No. That's what I was going to say. You can actually say, okay, at the end of my day, which gives you time to get, I love Heidi says, that's what I thought. Not always video ready. You don't have to, do it right then. It just and you can say, notify me at the end of the day of all my to-dos, or notify me as this week, because I was testing it. I was curious, like, okay, I want to try it and play with it. So you could do that and get video ready and everything else. And Deb says, I see something similar on Twitter. I would pull your comments up here, but it's weird. Something's going wonky with Be Live today because I'm not seeing your comments in Be Live. I'm only seeing them on Facebook. So I'm having to keep looking over here.
On Be Live today.
Yeah, they've added a couple new features I noted today, and so I have a feeling there's something going on. But Deb says, I see something similar on Twitter. People are sending me personalized videos, thanking me for following them. And Deb, I tried to do that a couple weeks ago, where I was sending video replies to people. So if they retweeted something, I would hit reply, to the person, and then you can just click live video, and instead of typing a response, you just do a quick video, which I love that concept. And if you want to get more engagement on Twitter and you want to stand out to people, that definitely works because you're memorable all of a sudden to that person.
Well, you'll be memorable for a little while until everybody starts to do it. Until everybody starts.
Well, but to your point, Toni, it's like, is it sustainable?
Yeah, and really, there is so much we could be doing on social media, all of us, and it's just really about how to use your time wisely. I mean, I love all of this stuff, and I love, as you know, I love video, but boy, if I was doing that all the time.
Well, and it's interesting because we had a conversation with a client, day before yesterday, I think it was, about their overall strategy for the year. And a lot of times their big strategy is, I need more numbers. Like, I really want to grow my community. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. However, I want to challenge everyone to say, how do we go deeper with the real people? And Toni, you and I you're doing this with your group. I mean, I just see the engagement. It's like, go deeper with the small numbers, because number one, that will grow to big numbers. But instead of focusing on grow big numbers, go deeper and get to know people. And I mean, I've been on this whole kick the last month of just really trying to get more intimate. And even in my emails I'm sending out, my love letters is what I'm calling them. I need to write my love letter to my subscribers. And I'm sending out a love letter as if I'm writing a love letter to my best friend. And I'm saying, I want to get to know you. And I love the fact that people are actually contacting me through email and Twitter and saying, hey, you told me to contact you and tell you 2 things that we have in common, which I've loved that, because number one, I do think that'll make me stand out and more memorable. But to me, it makes them stand out and more memorable because, it's
totally congruent with your brand too. So all of this video stuff that you're doing is totally congruent with your brand. You're the social media maven. And if you weren't on top of all of these new things, then there would be a huge disconnect. So everything that doing is totally on brand. That's less the case for the rest of us. I also think that, and this is why what you do is so brilliant, it truly depends who your target market is.
Yeah.
My target market does not want to know 2 things that we have in common. They really do not. And I'm talking about my target buyer.
Your target buyer doesn't want to know you more?
They may want to know me more, but they're not going to supply any personal information
about themselves. You're saying
about themselves. And again, if I'm thinking of the entrepreneurial group that's in the group, then that's great. We're sharing all kinds of stuff. I did another post yesterday when I was ruminating about something and asked for some thoughts, and I got some great feedback. And that's what I think that place is that's what makes that group so special for that entrepreneurial group. But my CEOs and VPs of sales and all of those guys on LinkedIn, and I mean guys in a non-gender specific kind of way,
the peeps.
Let's talk to me about 2 things you and I have in common. That's not on brand.
And then send them a love letter, Toni. I think they will. I love that.
That's why yours is a love letter and mine is an insider's report, and that's why. They're both brand congruent. Now, I really want to get this last, can I squeeze this last piece in?
Yes.
Just because this I just found this morning. I often think that I read voraciously, and I like to say that I scan voraciously. So I have a bunch of reliable sources that come into my inbox every day. I am up at 5:30 scanning by 5:45 and going through all of these things to try to find all these wonderful examples that I use in my business. And I like to think that the universe on Friday morning says this needs to be in Toni's box. Yeah. She needs to share this on Wind Down this afternoon. And again, the link is is below the video. And I know, Gina, a couple of weeks ago, you shared a video of a young lady who was singing her resume or something.
Yes.
So, but this goes one step further, and there's so many lessons in this one. So this is a guy, a copywriter, who wanted to get hired by Sprite. So one would think that he would use his copywriting skills and in some way demonstrate his copywriting skills. No. I mean, he sort of did. But what he did is he wrote a rap. He wrote a rap song about Sprite and why he loves Sprite and why Sprite is so cool and why he wants to work for Sprite, for this agency. And as I watched it, number one, meets all the 5 S's that you don't even need to think about it. Perfect score almost, okay?
Right.
Secondly, yes, he dared to be different. He did a music video. And then but there were so many other lessons in it. One, he talked about his copywriting skills, but his copywriting skills were nowhere in evidence. And I just saw another thing that I think Denny's did with Solo, for the new movie Solo, Not a Pancake in Sight. And what it made me think, number one, is we are always so busy putting our wares up in front and pushing what we do, when in fact there's all kinds of way to connect to people. And it's refreshing, actually, if we're not pushing a product. Number two, we think all the time about why you, like I want my customers to know why you, and what this video did brilliantly is he told them why them.
Right.
He wasn't focused on why, although there's a great bit in the song about all the things he could do. He was saying, I love you. I love Sprite. See? I wanted to work for Sprite all my life. And it made me think, how often do we do that?
Yeah.
How often do we tell our clients why we want them to choose us because of how much we love them?
Right.
Like it was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. So watch the video. I think there's lots of little lessons in there, apart from the fact that it was great and it was innovative and it met the 5 S's and it was a great marketing thing. And he got hired. The moral of the story is he got hired by this to work on the Sprite account. He's dressed as a rapper. He has like limes and lemons hanging around his neck. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And another video that I didn't post yet, but I will, was by a financial institution. You know, there are all these new financial, I think they call them fintech or fintech or whatever it is, these new innovative financial institutions that aren't bricks and mortar. But I'll post this video too, because it was a video of the remodel of a kitchen, except the kitchen was this big. It wasn't till the very end of the video that they even mentioned the name of the company. And then it made this thing about small projects, big projects, you know, you can get a personal loan. But again, they weren't pushing their wares.
Right.
They were showing me the money in that, and all pun intended, right? They were showing me the benefit of what they could do for me, which goes back to where we started. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got to do with what you can do for me. And so in a minute and a half, I'm sitting there going, I can do that. I can, you know, remodel my kitchen if I happen to be somebody who's looking for money to remodel my kitchen. And I'm guessing they will do a whole series with a bunch of different projects.
Which is the whole Tide Super Bowl concept. They never mentioned Tide. You know, it wasn't about Tide. It was about everything else going on and how they were evident there without pushing their brand.
Yes, and in fact, the CEO or whomever actually said this was the very first thing they done for Tide that did not focus on stain removal.
Yeah,
Didn't focus on stain removal at all.
Well, it's interesting because there's a company called, I think it's just Gravy or Gravy.com or Get Gravy. Maybe someone in the audience will know. It's a company that basically gets money for you, that like when people sign on for membership sites and they don't pay, and Get Gravy, or it's not Get, it's like a collection service that attaches. So when somebody's credit card expires, they get it for you instead of you letting it lapse. But they were talking about how on their invoices, they put on their invoices how much money they've saved you. I thought that was an interesting way to say, here's what we're doing for you.
Yes.
That helps you remember why you love us, why you chose, why us.
Yeah, it's a great example. You know, we always talk about, you want to remind your customers why they should do and continue to do business with you. Right. So people, every time I say an invoice is a touch point, people go, well, it's not really. But that company is using their invoice as a touch point to remind their customers why they should continue to do business with them. It's beautiful.
Right. Yeah, it is. I mean, again, every time you see those examples, don't brush those off. Examine them and see what can you do in your business with something simple like your invoice to make you stand out and remind your customers of how you help them, why you, and reinforce that. You know, back in the days, 25 years ago, when I was in sales, we used to call that putting a feather in your cap, because a lot of times you're doing a lot for your customers and they don't even know it. And if you don't put those on the invoice and put them as waived that fee, and it may seem weird to do that, but a lot of times, you know, we'll do things and just incorporate it. But if you put it there, waive the fee so they see, then they're reminded of, oh, that's why. Like no one else would do that. You know, things like that, I think could be a great touch point.
And I think all of us need to look at ways that we can not just remind our customers why they do business with us, but why we're so excited about doing business with them. And you are a master at this. You are a master. We always get these little things from you that, well, they're not big. Maybe, no, we get big things too. We get things. We get things from you in the mail. And they're all over the place. But every time it reminds us that you are grateful for doing business with us. And I think that's something that we can all do so much better at. And it doesn't take a lot. It just takes a little creativity and
thinking of the person. You know, it's kind of like one of those things of how do we personalize things to make it more it's more of that love letter. I'm going to go back to my love. This is a love fest. We need to be back in love with our customers and with people we work with. And and 30 minutes has flown by once again, even without wine.
Even without wine. And this was really strange for me today. It says no comments, no reaction.
It is weird. And I'm seeing them on here. So thank you, Dee. And what's weird about this is, Dee says my screen is frozen. Anyone else? I don't know if anyone else but Deb says email signatures can be cleverly worded as well to show off your skills and value. I love my voicemail. When you call our main 800 number, we have a very unique voicemail set up, and you can take a 30-second vacation. When you call my cell phone, you get a unique message. My email signature line, I'm always tweaking that. I think you've got to always look at all these things going, what can we do different? Okay. Oh, Dee says it's back on. What's bad is I can't scroll to see comments. This is really a hard one. So I apologize. For some reason, Be Live is not showing your comments. On Facebook, I see them, but as soon as I can't scroll through them until after the live show is over. So, but lots of comments. Sarah, shout out to you. Sarah says, thanks, Toni and Gina. Exciting insights as always. Great show. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, big love to you. Like I'm connecting with Sarah and learning about her all over. And I know Dee and Deb and Heidi, people who are always like, I'm always learning about your awesomeness. So I think it's, we need to look at what is our awesomeness, really look at that within our brand, within ourselves, what makes us unique, and then bring that to the table more in the coming months.
Absolutely.
So
have
very
a
fun
weekend, everybody.
Dee says, it's always fun not to drink with you. Cheers. Yes. And it could be ginger ale. It could be wine. No one will know.
No, that's ginger ale.
How can you tell?
Because it's got little bubbles.
Now
I can see 38 comments.
All of a sudden. Oh, wow. All of a sudden they all populated on here too.
Yeah. So all of a sudden I've got, although I don't know. Great.
There's Deb. There's Dee. Dee's comments. And Sarah. Like the end of the show, they all started populating. Yeah, something must have been glitchy in our system today and Be Live or something. So
have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and a great week. And next Friday's show is going to be
special surprise.
So make sure you put it in your agenda. Tell other people. Don't forget about the Facebook groups. If you're in Gina's, join mine. If you're in mine, join Gina's. Really, they're very different conversations, but they're all congruent, and they just touch on different things. So I'm in Gina's. Gina's is in mine, and so mine is Influential Innovators.
I was going to say, we'll put those links in there. Influential Innovators. If you search for that in Facebook, you'll find her group. And DIY Social is my group. And Heidi, what is our awesomeness? Heidi, that's right. Heidi, I know your awesomeness. You're awesome. Heidi's saying a link. What is a link to Toni's group? So we'll put that link in the comments area here. So Influential Innovators. So facebook.com/groups/influential innovators. It's a lot to spell.
Influential Innovators, and it'll come up.
Awesome.
Okay, I got to go.
Joining us, you guys. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.